walking trail again, and there's a lot of people out here playing sports. Look like they got tournaments going on. That's one of the reasons I like coming out here. It's a lot of folks out here playing. Look like I say, various different tournaments. They're grilling. Just a phenomenal place to be on the weekend. I do this several times a week, and I'm telling you, you gotta get out. You gotta get out and enjoy. You gotta smell the roses, go on nature walks, meet people, get out there. It's a big old wide world out there. So with that being said, let's get down to today's very important lecture. Effective July of 2023. I checked my credit reports just a couple of days ago. But as I speak, on my credit reports, all three major credit bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, my federal student loan in amount of $75,000 plus dollars. That bill no longer appears on my credit report. It now shows a balance of zero. Zero on Equifax, zero on TransUnion, zero on Experian. I checked it a few days ago, and my federal student loan in amount of $75,000+ dropped from me owing that amount to zero. And that really was the final piece of the puzzle of the totality of my successful completion of going through the federal loan forgiveness, student loan forgiveness program. That was a 120-month journey. I had to meet requirements, submit paperwork twice a year, be employed by a qualified employer that will be recognized by the federal government, go under the income-driven repayment plan, pay a monthly amount. In the final, actually, my student loan was wiped out August of 2023, but I just saw a few days ago that on my credit reports, because there was another process federal government had to do to alert Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian to drop that balance from a 75,000 to zero. So it literally shows on all of my credit reports, and that's power. And the beauty of that process, of that qualifying payments I made for 120 months, which is 10 years, I can clearly remember years ago when I started that program. I tell anybody, if you got student loans, if your children got student loans, if you got federal student loans, or if you know anybody got federal student loans, they need to enroll their behind in the public loan forgiveness program. That was the best decision I made strategically 10 years ago. And when I can clearly remember when I submitted the first application for that process. And I'm gonna tell you what my mindset was 10 years ago when I entered that, because I owe well over 70. I owe so much in school debt. So just imagine this for a moment. After 10 years of making payments, the balance that was forgiven after me making payments for 10 years, the balance was still well over $75,000. And that was the amount that got zeroed out and forgiven by me paying attention to detail and filling out my paperwork. Let me give you an idea on what my mindset was 10 years ago when I say, ain't no in the world I'm going to be do all this. 10 years, but I saw how huge my debt was. I went back to school later in life to get my master's degree. So my mindset was, that's a long time. But I also had another mindset, and I said this to myself. I say, when I am finished with that program, I'm going to retire early. So there are many things I did along that way in that 10-year process. I had to rebuild my 401. I had to rebuild my retirement. Along that process, I self-funded my daughter through school, so she didn't have debt, so she wouldn't be up against what I was up against. I did all that within that 10 years. Within that 10-year journey, I paid off a 30-year mortgage 20 years early. So I paid that mortgage off 20 years early within that 10-year journey, simultaneously doing everything I need to do to have that student loan zeroed out. I diversified my portfolio within that 10-year journey. You know, at that time when I enrolled in that program, I didn't have a 2 cents to my name. I was drowning in a sea of debt. So I had to rise above that situation because I had the mindset, you know, when I get that powerful piece of paper from the federal government, and I remember when I got that paper said, you have met all of the requirements that you needed to do, in the remaining balance of your $75,000 has been forgiven. I got that paper August of 2023. I was on vacation when I got that information. And they also told me in that powerful letter later on, because they had to do some back-end work, we're going to also alert Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. We're going to let them know that that $75,000 has been forgiven, and you will see in the very near future balance owed 0, 0, 0. And that's power. And I talked about all of this in my book that hit all major bookstores 2 years ago. So 10 years in the future, my financial portfolio looking good, my retirement checks looking good. I don't owe anybody. The $75,000 was zeroed out. 0 mortgage, 0 car note, 0 bills, and that set the stage for this woman to retire out of the workforce. The minute I got that powerful piece of paper from the federal government saying that my loan was forgiven, that very next business day, I went to HR and submitted my retirement papers. Just like that. But mind you, that was 10 years of me being strategic. That was 10 years of preparation and planning, strategizing financially behind the scene. That was 10 years of, in addition to throughout that 10-year process, every promotion I got, every raise I got, I treated that extra money like it did not exist. And I started investing heavily into additional 401s. And I mean heavy. Within that 10-year journey, my salary probably increased by well over $40,000, if not $50,000, not counting bonuses. I reinvest all that money. I kept my living the same. And I looked up, and when I talked to my benefits counselor, when I knew that letter was coming, when he told me your first retirement gonna hit as soon as you start working, your second retirement check gonna hit 1 year future, and that ain't counting none of my Social Security. If I would not have had the mindset, change my mindset about how I wanted my financial future to look, I'm here to tell you, as I speak right now, I will still be working versus not having to work another day in my life. That's, you got people in their 20s, the 30s, school on their school loan, paycheck got garnished, retirement check got garnished, Social Security check got garnished because they have failed to handle their business. I'm telling you, this thing is real. This thing is real. I was determined, and I'm telling you, I don't know anybody in this world who are in the position where my retirement check started hitting me in October, but I had my money straight. I don't know anybody who is in the position where they can turn around and get a check every month and turn around and reinvest 80% of their retirement check, because my debt to income ratio is phenomenal. That's power. I didn't learn this in college. People need to wake up. The focus and concept of my channel is exactly what I'm talking about right now. This thing is real. Do you know I could not do but give glory to God? This was informed by the federal government that you will not have to pay. It's a $65,000 plus on federal student loan have to give you. And better yet, they didn't not just forgive me. Some kind of way they said back in 2012 that I overpaid that federal student loan by 14 payment. So they told me, because of you overpaying back in 2012, here we are in 23. I can't remember what I looked like in 2012 paying bills. All I knew was I was drowning in debt. A month later, I went to my mailbox. There was a federal student loan refund in the amount of close to $8,000 that the federal government said we owe you, on top of giving $75,000 plus, and on top of going into the major credit bureaus to make sure that $75,000 now fights TransUnion and Experian, and the rest is history. This thing is real. I'm here to tell you, and I cannot stress enough. You know, you may even know people behind on their school loan and default on their school loan. They need to get their behind enrolled in that program. And I'm gonna tell you another thing about that process. God got his hands all over me. The last 3 years of the 10 years, here we go. The last 3 years of the 10 years, my required payment under the income-driven repayment plan that I had to pay every month to be eligible, to continue to be eligible in that program because of COVID, the federal government said your payment per month would be zero. So I literally got a bill the last 3 years of the 10 years of zero, and they counted that zero payment towards my loan forgiveness. So in reality, I only paid 7 years of the 10 years. The last 3 years, my bill was zero, and I paid the zero bill, and it counted the 120 payment, in the rest is history. They also sent me a powerful letter. The government sent me a powerful letter, and I got to show this letter to my CPA. Because historically, anytime you get a bill wiped out, rather it's $75,000 or $200,000, when you get a bill forgiven, I don't care if it's a default credit card bill, the government will tax you on the amount that was forgiven. But the federal government sent me a letter saying, because of legislative laws that they passed, that $75,000 of my federal student loan will not, and I'm gonna say this loud and clear, will not be considered taxable income. So I'm gonna show that federal letter to my CPA when I get my taxes done the end of this year. God hands all over this. And this is the power of being financially free. I'm here to tell you, and when all of that happened with Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, I'm gonna tell you something. What that did is it now has a powerful direct impact on my FICO score. You know, it's your credit score is one component, but your FICO score and your credit score is not interchangeable. When you're looking at the FICO score, when the creditors and employers are looking at your credit report, they're also looking at that FICO score, because that FICO score has a direct impact on your debt-to-income ratio. This the amount of income you got against your debt. So I don't care if you're making six figures. I don't care if your income is $350,000 a year, but if you owe $1 million in bills, then you ain't looking good. So your debt to income ratio has a direct impact on your financial stability. The debt to income ratio can make or break you when you're trying to get a mortgage, when you're trying to get a car note, and etc. So now I'm gonna tell you something. My debt to income ratio, when I look at my debt on my Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, all throughout my report, I see nothing but zeros, because I have no mortgage, zero. I have no car note, zero. I have no credit card bills, zero. I don't have to, now that $75,000 school loan has been zeroed out, it's nothing but zeros. Oh, I don't owe nobody nothing in this world. And that's power. My debt to income ratio, my income, here we go. My income, and instead of rising because I reinvest for dividends, my retirement checks far exceed my debt. Only debt I have in the world is utilities, food, and my cell phone bill. My debt to income ratio has been phenomenal for years. The only thing I was waiting on for the federal government to alert the credit bureaus to zero out that $75,000. That's power. That is, and I'm telling you, it's not about the score. It's about who do you owe. Who, if you, I know people making six figures right now, $10,000+ a year, and can't even buy food for lunch. Can't even get guests to go to work because the debt is higher than that $10,000 a month. And I'm here to tell you. And when I begin to master that and wrap my mind around that and understand that, that is when, after I had the spiritual battle in 2012 with God, God gave me the skills to awaken. There you go. To awaken my financial freedom. So now it is my duty to impart this knowledge onto the world. I didn't learn none of this in college. I got 2 master's degrees. I didn't learn none of this in college. No, it took me to go through financial destruction from 2007 to 2012. And I had that spiritual battle with God for 24 hours in 2012. When I woke up, the transformation of Marie Holiday begun financially. And I'm here to tell you. So I'm telling you, as of a few days ago on my credit report, that instead of that $75,000 in federal student loans showing up, it now shows 0 for Equifax, 0 for TransUnion, and 0 for Experian, and that is power. And I'm here to tell you, and I'll be forever grateful to God for giving me these skills to navigate through my destruction. And I'm here to tell you, I'm always educating family members, people I meet in the neighborhood, the community, on this federal student loan forgiveness program. And I'm telling you, it is no reason for a person to be in default on the school loan. I am living evidence. This thing is real. And I'm here to tell you, share this information. Share this information, because I'm telling you, you know, everybody's aware now that the federal government has lifted. They have lifted and now are requiring for people to start by paying their school loan. I will hope they got enough sense to roll it behind in that program, because this thing is real. I'm here to tell you. So that's all I have. Simple Fidelis, and I'm going to leave you in the care of your own conscience. Have a great day.